If you notice why this review is late, I apologize. Let's just say that I got a bit distracted. Hello everyone, Mega Man NG here, and today we talk about another Flash episode review. This week we're talking about yesterday's episode, Elongated Journey into the Night, and let me tell you, even though I did enjoy this episode, let's just say that it has a fair share of problems and issues. And if I were to compare this with other CW-based shows like Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and Arrow, it's pretty decent. But I will explain it as it goes along. Anyway, here's the deal. I'll provide a summary as well as the main focus, some of my thoughts. Let's begin. Night falls on Central City. Gypsy and Cisco are enjoying their date, but a guy who is on the hunt for this guy interrupts it. The next day, Team Flash learns the identity of another who was on the bus when Barry got out of the Speed Force, Ralph Dibny. They find that he has his own private agency and is a bit of a douchebag. But when he's the target of some gangsters, his powers kick in almost immediately. Can Barry and his team be able to keep him alive and contend with these punks? And what about Cisco? Can he try to find a way to survive against the Breacher? Yeah, I was really hyped for this episode, for two reasons. But before I explain what they are, let me say that the episode was a fun one. It was a pretty fun episode, a bit more down to earth compared to last week. Although last week was a pretty awesome episode, this week was alright. However, it had its fair share of problems and issues that I will explain. For starters, we had some new characters. One character, Breacher, played by the ever-awesome Danny Trejo. If you know who Danny Trejo is, look up those commercials regarding the cable, and seeing him there is enough to make me scream with glee. And the other, Ralph Dibny, portrayed by Hartley Sawyer. Ralph Dibny, aka the Elongated Man, finally makes his appearance on the CW DC verse. And surprisingly, I know Ralph Dibny due to Linkara reviewing Identity Crisis. It wasn't really a review, it was more like 15 things wrong with it. But I knew more about him upon reading 52. And I mean it, 52. Not the new 52, 52, the story where it pretty much tells about secondary characters, and of those secondary characters, it focused more on them. And Ralph Dibny had a big plot, which I will say he got really, really awesome in every way. You should read 52. However, here his powers are the result of Barry coming out of a Speed Force. And now that they have another identity, well, Ralph Dibny was pretty difficult to work with. Very difficult, and we actually learn about his backstory. He was a former cop of the CCPD who wanted to prove himself. Barry, around the time when he was like a junior CSI, had to investigate regarding Ralph Dibny's possible evidence. He was able to prove him wrong, but it also got Ralph Dibny kicked out of the force, which in turn kind of pretty much have a bit of a hate relationship with this guy. As for Breacher, I mean, good God, seeing Danny Trejo in the episode made me scream with glee. And Breacher's powers, or rather Breacher, is the leader of a group of people that hunt down reality bender, like people who go through realities and cause bad things. And I swear, Breacher's like an overprotective dad that wants what's best for his daughter, but has to contend with every date that the daughter brings. And believe me, the chase between Breacher and Cisco was actually some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. And Cisco, it took a lot of willpower with him in order to actually beat Breacher. Not really beat Breacher, but just to convince him that he's not a bad guy. We also do get his name. His name is Josh, whereas Gypsy, his daughter, Cynthia. And that made me giddy. It made me really giddy. And yes, I ship Cisco Gypsy. I don't care, I ship them. I shipped them to the end of time. The villain of the week is surprisingly not a meta. It's pretty much the mayor of Central City who was actually planning on doing his re-election, when in truth he's actually working for the mob. And how they were able to beat him was a bit pretty nice. It was pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Although it didn't help that he had to take Joe hostage, and he was also a former cop, which made things a bit more emotionally invested. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just that I felt that having a villain, like a villain of the week, be more somewhat noble, like, how do I put this, like a mayor of all things, is unexpected. But it didn't help the fact that, or rather, the episode felt a bit disjointed. The episode truthfully felt like a mystery. It really did. There wasn't much action, but it put a lot more focus more on the characters as well as the subplots. And the subplots all worked out pretty well, especially with Cisco and Breacher. And in the end, the subplot actually ended up itself in the main role, with Breacher pretty much attacking Ralph Dibny for being like a plastoid. And it was rather hilarious, but also rather scary. And it took Vibe to convince him to stop, which was nice. Only shows just how awesome Cisco is. I really like Cisco a lot. I really do. However, my problem is that the episode, the pacing itself, was a bit disjointed. It felt like it was all over the place. It started off normal, but then it goes running really fast, especially with the Cisco Breacher stuff. Then the slowdown parts occur with the mystery, and I like that. But like I said, the episode felt like a disjointed mess, like a straight line, and then it starts to crook off in different directions as a result of the plots. But overall, I felt like the momentum just kind of got a bit lost in the shuffle. But who am I to complain? I like the episode not only because Danny Trejo is in the show, but also the fact that it felt more like a mystery. And speaking of which, also, the Thinker does not appear in this episode, but we do get a last name, DeVoe. Yes, DeVoe. And something tells me this is another piece of the puzzle in regards to the Thinker. We know he has a last name, but the question is, what does it all mean? And that gets Ralph Dibny curious, and we know Ralph Dibny is going to be an ally for Teen Flash. But who knows how it's going to go. I'm going to look forward to seeing how this turns out. How do I rate this? I give this a 7.5. And if you guys have your own honest opinions on it, feel free. The episode is alright, albeit a bit disjointed and a bit messy. We do get to see Danny Trejo in action, which was nice, and I swear, he is scary. He is absolutely scary, and Cisco's humor really upped the ante with it. It made the episode really enjoyable, especially on that front, but I felt the rest of it felt like a bit messy. Like I said, it's disjointed. It had its fair share of problems and issues, but I found the episode to be enjoyable fun. Remember, everybody has their opinions and all that, and unfortunately, I'm running in time, so I need to get this done. Hopefully next week, it'll be a bit better, because like I said, I'm one person who can only do so much. And believe me, when I can do so much, I'm limited by what I have. Doesn't help my YouTube channel isn't doing so great, but hey, I'm happy with what I've got, so I'm grateful. Anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it for this Flash episode review. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. Please show your support, because it really does mean a lot, especially when I do reviews like The Flash and TMNT. And I know some of you are fans of this show, and I hope you guys can show your support on it. It really does mean a lot to me, like I said. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is Mega Man NJ signing off. Peace out. I'll see you guys next week for when a bachelor party goes terribly and messily wrong.